No wonder he never asked me for sexual videos. He's getting them from, like, I don't know how many girls. It's just a lot, and he's disgusting right now, and I just don't want to be, like, anywhere near him.
Yikes. I wish I could say that I'm surprised that Rob's been cheating on Sophie, been getting explicit videos from other women behind her back. But to be honest, I'm not even slightly. But the question is, however, is Sophie willing to turn a blind eye in exchange for an American visa?
If I don't marry him, I have to go home. So I've given up everything for nothing. I don't want to throw away my whole life that I've been trying to build to be in LA with Rob.
So this Rob, this sleazy guy who's been doing the dirty behind his girlfriend's back, well, he's a million miles away from the guy we saw last episode. You see, the last time we saw them, Rob was playing the role of family man. He was practically picking out nursery room colours. He was demanding that Sophie have his kids or leave. And when we join them in this episode, he's still putting on that act.
There's no version of my future where I don't have a family. Sophie should be with someone who doesn't want to have children. If that's what she wants, she should find someone who wants the same thing.
Look, in no uncertain terms, Rob is giving Sophie an ultimatum here. But the truth is, he's yet to even ask her perspective on having kids. And thankfully, Sophie is willing to call him out on it. She emphasises how little her voice has been heard in this one-sided conversation.
You didn't ask me anything, you walked away. The problem is pregnancy. It's not I'm against family, it's pregnancy. And you have not asked me, you still haven't even asked me one question about that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Sophie. But call it how it was. Rob didn't just walk away. In fact, he acted like a giant baby. Like, how on earth could she want kids with Rob when he acts like a child all the time? But thankfully, now that he's actually sitting still, Sophie takes her opportunity to speak up. She tells him that despite her medical history, despite the danger and the complication if she were to get pregnant, she still wants to make it work, and there are still potential options for them.
I'm willing to obviously work with you on a solution for it, but there's two options, adoption or surrogacy. So would you consider either of them, or?
Okay, sure, the words might be coming out of her mouth, but I'm not convinced that Sophie's really given much thought to the reality of having children with this man. She's still so young, nearly a decade younger than he is. And let's be frank, their living arrangements don't exactly scream family home. Right now, it seems pretty clear that this isn't really what she wants. But Rob, on the other hand, well, he thinks this planet needs more of him. Mini versions.
I mean, I would like to raise little me's, so surrogacy sounds like the route that I'm more partial to.
Mini Robs. He's starting to sound a bit like Dr. Evil. The way that Rob's acting, planning a future family and putting pressure on Sophie is all a bit surreal, especially considering by the end of this episode, he gets found out cheating on her. But we'll come to that shortly. For right now, we join Sophie on a video call with her mum. Now, we already know that Sophie's mum isn't exactly Rob's biggest fan. In fact, that's being generous. She doesn't like him at all. But when Sophie uses this opportunity to discuss the whole kids debacle with her, Sophie makes a very telling statement. She reveals that she's scared she'll lose Rob unless she mixes her genes with his.
I don't want to have kids just because he wants me to, and I don't want to tell him no because he's going to leave. And then it's like, what does that mean for me and my life and everything I've given up for him?
Well, Sophie, I have a funny feeling that you might find out what your life will look like without Rob sooner than you might think. But before things take a turn for the worse, we join them later that evening as Sophie and Rob get ready for a night out with Rob's friend. Now, as I'm sure you recall, Tarai still doesn't entirely trust Sophie. He thinks it was very suspicious that he found her on a dating app when she was last in LA.
I'm definitely not looking forward to seeing Rob's friend Tarai, just because he has been in Rob's ear a bit about me.
She popped up on Tarai's phone on a dating app.
Yeah, judging by the way Tarai greets Sophie, she's right to be reluctant to hang out with him. Like, from the get-go, Tarai is on Sophie's case. He's prodding her, he's goading her, asking why she's so scared to meet him. He wants answers, and clearly in Tarai's eyes, Sophie is guilty until proven innocent.
How you doing?
Hi.
Hey, what's up, Sophie?
Nice to see you.
Good to see you finally. It's been forever.
Yeah, eventually she
I
was
know.
gonna have to see you.
Why you been hiding? What you scared of?
Hold on, hang on a minute. How is Rob just letting his friend talk to his future wife like that? He just stands there and basically lets Tarai pick on Sophie. But things go from bad to worse when Sophie mentions that her friend will also be joining them tonight. And that topic, friends, gives Tarai the perfect opportunity to discuss the dating app controversy.
Oh, where'd you meet that friend?
I met her like when I came here like the first time. I just
Okay.
met her on like a friend's dating app.
Oh,
Yeah,
a
that's
friend's
where I
day
meet all
now.
my
A
friends.
friend, that's what we call them now. Friends day now.
Now, when Sophie's friend arrives, the questioning only gets worse, more insulting. You see, Tarai takes it upon himself to try and get to the bottom of the real nature of Sophie and her friend's relationship. Is it really just friendship? Is there more to this, perhaps?
So you're not into girls?
No,
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Two things are pretty clear here. Firstly, Rob just stands there and watches this all unfold. He doesn't intervene at all. But also, secondly, Tarai, you have no right to question someone's sexuality, especially seconds after first meeting them. It feels like he's massively overstepping boundaries there. But while Sophie's friend denies having any attraction for women, this whole topic brings up anxiety for Sophie. You see, we know that Sophie's bisexual, but Rob and his friend don't know this, and she's starting to realise that she might need to tell him sooner rather than later.
But I do know that like I probably should tell Rob soon that I'm bisexual. I've just been putting it off for a bit because lately we've been arguing so much.
But, as it turns out, just as Sophie's secrets are beginning to weigh on her conscience, Rob's own secrets, his double life, comes to light. It's crazy how quickly things have turned. One minute they were in the club kissing, and when we joined them the next day, well, Sophie's in a new house all alone and crying. It turns out she needed to get as far away from Rob as possible.
What's going on?
I just wanted to get away from like Rob and his house and his dog.
You can clearly see that Sophie is still in shock. She seems almost panicked, and she begins to detail the series of events that's led to this situation, that's led to her all alone in a separate house looking completely devastated. So what exactly happened? Well, it looks like Rob f***ed up again. What did he do? How exactly did we get here? Well, it all began with a dream.
So basically what happened was I had a dream the night before, right? That Rob online cheated on me. So the next day, I just checked his phone. I never check his phone, but I was like, let me just check.
Now, going through your partner's phone isn't exactly a sign of a healthy relationship to begin with. But since Rob has a history of online cheating, well, it makes sense that Sophie has trust issues in the man. You can maybe forgive her for lifting his phone and taking a peek inside, especially when you find out what he's been hiding. You see, on Rob's phone, Sophie discovered further evidence of him cheating. It suddenly makes a lot more sense why Rob was so cagey, why he was so quick to dismiss the conversation when Sophie brought up the topic of his online cheating a few episodes ago.
And then I went on this one app and like basically he's been getting like disgusting videos from other women and like asking for just like nudes and...
Yeah, this must all be very tough for Sophie. Within just a matter of days, she's gone from agreeing to have his kids to finding evidence of him cheating on her. And it turns out it's not just one other woman. Sophie claims she's found tons of videos from countless different women. And judging by what she's seen, she thinks this has been going on for a very long time. She's beginning to put the puzzle pieces together.
No wonder he never asked me for sexual videos. He's getting them from, like, I don't know how many girls. It's just a lot, and he's disgusting right now, and I just don't want to be, like, anywhere near him.
Now, the last time this happened, the last time he was caught online cheating was during COVID. That time, he used COVID as an excuse. He used the distance between him and Sophie as a reason for why it happened. But this time, he's got no leg to stand on. This isn't because he's bored and lonely in his house. This is him willingly, actively sending and receiving videos. He's clearly getting a kick out of it, and it brings into stark focus how brazenly, how easily Rob can just stand and lie whilst looking directly into Sophie's eyes. If it wasn't already, now Sophie's trust is completely broken.
If you're getting pictures from another person that's not your partner and jacking off to them and watching all this disgusting stuff and requesting videos and having a fun time with someone other than your partner, that's cheating.
So you might be thinking to yourself at this stage, how did Rob react? That would be interesting to see, especially as he gets mad at even the mention of indoor plumbing. Well, fortunately for us, although the camera crew weren't present, Sophie recorded some of the confrontation on her phone. This was filmed in Rob's car as he was driving her to her new accommodation, and it comes as no surprise that, as normal, he's ranting and raving, he's angry, and he's making excuses for himself.
You've hurt me again, Rob.
I've been trying to be perfect, but I'm not perfect, man. I'm not perfect.
Look, Rob, there's levels to this game. I mean, leaving your wet towel on the floor, that's not being perfect. Online cheating, on the other hand, sending and receiving explicit videos. Videos, as Sophie graphically explains, features shots of him pleasuring himself. Well, sorry, that constitutes a lot more than lack of being perfect. Sophie's absolutely right to be disgusted. That's not on. And he's gonna need a far better excuse than not being perfect to get away with it this time round.
I don't want nobody else, baby.
The messages. I saw the messages, even the ones that you didn't save. I've seen them, Rob. So I don't care what you keep saying. It doesn't mean anything to me. You're just a liar.
Now, the interesting thing is, even after everything that she's discovered, it's not actually clear whether or not Sophie has split up with Rob. The way she starts to talk about the life she dreamed for herself in LA, her fear of going home, it all begins to raise alarm bells in my mind. It sounds like she might consider forgiving Rob, which begs the question, has this entire relationship been about the visa?
If I don't marry him, I have to go home. So I've given up everything for nothing. I don't want to throw away my whole life that I've been trying to build to be in LA with Rob.
The way she's talking here seems to suggest she really doesn't want to go home. She seems more upset about losing out on her American dream than she does about Rob cheating. Now, of course, clearly, she is still in pain. She is still hurting. Maybe she's just not thinking straight, because any sensible person right now would be hopping on the next flight home. There's no trust in this relationship. Getting back together with Rob is just going to cause her more grief and more paranoia, even if that means living the life she thinks she wants. But is that really the life for her? Living in a tiny room with no toilet and no trust? It's hardly glamorous LA, and I really struggle to believe that that is the life she imagines for herself.